Memo. Green Anti-Globalization. The Promised Rough Idea, Memo number 2. Hello again. As promised, following up on the previous rough raw idea and piggybacking on the same two-sentence idea theme, this one is influenced by a book I recently started reading, Let My People Go Surfing, written by Yvon Chouinard. Again, I butchered his name, my apologies. He's the founder of Patagonia. By the way, I can't recommend this book enough. It's an excellent read, and so far I have been trouble putting it down. The book focuses on the bibliography of the founder of the business. To confess, in addition to the book above, a lot of ideas could also be influenced by another book I'm currently reading, The War Below. This book focuses on more on the green energy revolution and the debate around mining for green energy products. I think the paradox of weighing what environmental damage you should do to enable the green revolution is also an interesting question. And this book should be read by all, especially when debating the cost of the green transition. The author does a fantastic job showing both sides of the debate. Back to the point. The hook that made me think and want to write this piece was in the preface of Let My People Go Surfing. The author makes a statement about the business world recognizing its responsibility for the environmental futures, keeping in mind this book was published in 2005. And this realization leads to transformation how business practices will be done in the future. He mentions that corporations will need to consider the location of their factories, among other factors, when embracing the idea of having cleaner supply chains. This idea led me to think about how we currently conduct manufacturing. The author is objectively right. We have many items around the world that get manufactured in part in one location due to lower wages, abundance of material, easier regulations, or concentration of skilled workers, and then shipped like ping pong balls from one side to another around the world until it's finally assembled, packaged, and up for sale. This reality has been enabled thanks to the world's globalization and specialization in production. If we think about the environmental impact, it's enormous. We are using more energy in order to get things done. What do I mean by that? Well, not ignoring the benefits of specialization, how it looking at the big picture enables everyone to focus on working on their most productive product, globally producing more items than if we worked separately. However, if we delve deeper and think about both the amount of energy that is wasted as we ship it around the world and the amount of time we waste as we try to optimize supply chain, it's crazy. Yeah, I know. Globalization has enabled many areas to specialize in one singular thing, bringing the overall global cost down. But I've been thinking, even if we isolate just the energy to ship things back and forth, isn't it a huge inefficiency? And when growing political pushback against offshoring and the rise of nationalism and isolation, the risk of the companies is rising in terms of global supply chains. And the other thought of automation is also intriguing in the sense of democratizing where things get produced. I want to clarify, I understand the supply chains are extremely fragile and complex, and any stressors in the environment can have a noticeable impact. I'm just thinking, if they were designed from scratch, especially not inheriting previous practices or routes, the current supply chains would be looking a lot different. Anyway, I kind of threw the automation idea out of nowhere. You can see I'm still developing my thoughts. I've been thinking that the reality that most factories today are incomparable to what they were 50 years ago. One example could be the automotive assembly line. When Henry Ford built his with stationary workers, every part was touched by a human. Well, today, if we look at, say, the Tesla Gigafactory, the majority of the work is done with machines. So, extrapolating this thought, I was thinking if low-cost labor is not an issue, yes, I know energy prices are still a factor, the return of factories on national soil could mean fewer jobs, to pair with the nationalism and isolation ideas mentioned above. Since factories can be more automated, requiring fewer workers, you could argue that a greener supply chain could be achieved by relocating factories to the production or distribution site. Paradoxically, the shift towards onshoring many businesses in their totality could produce fewer jobs overall, but perhaps more resilient localized economies. Let's stay on the theme of deglobalization. To play devil's advocate to the idea of bringing factories back in the back is the counterpoint, or perhaps the word expressed by both Steve Jobs and Tim Cook. In old interviews, they highlight that the issue with onshoring is the difficulty in finding capable, trained workforce ready to take those jobs. The fact is due to the limited number of individuals having the know-how. An example could be manufacturing expertise of Chinese managers who have large towns to choose from, even with strictly looking for the population standpoint, but also more individuals trained in disciplines that could run those factories. The idea relates to words expressed in the book, The War Below. The author highlights the loss of know-how in working with rare earth minerals and difficulty of onshoring those procedures with limited personnel to support such projects. What this means is that a lot of critical supply chains such as those of earth metals, but also for green energy metals, we are at risk of getting cut off in the West from both a know-how basis, but also of not having the infrastructure ready to meet any measurable demand if we were cut from other supplies. So just to summarize, the difficulty of onshoring is not just about having factories. It's about having the institutional knowledge of production methods, management methods, operational methods, specialized skills, and the entire ecosystem that has developed over decades in specific regions to be brought here. I know my thoughts are all over the place, which is why I'm sharing these raw ideas in mid-article, in a mini-article. Apologies, I know the article didn't quite have the great flow. I'm even having trouble reading it, as you can hear. But I guess I'll learn in public and get the thoughts stretched out. I'm collecting them to see how they'll condense into deeper understanding in a few months or maybe years. Maybe our supply chains will get untangled and I'm just overthinking these elements, but I had fun nonetheless. Thanks for hearing me in my two mini article series. Even better and more exciting things are coming soon. Cheers. Daniel.